Hello and welcome to Marstrand for the knockout stages of Stena Match Cup Sweden Stage 3 of the Alpari World Match Racing Tour. Phil Robertson and Walker Racing top qualifiers yesterday and chose to pick in the quarterfinals Ruben Corbett, a fellow countryman. I thought that was an interesting pick. Well, I'm joined by Phil now. Phil, why did you go for him?
Yeah, it's never easy picking your opponent, I guess. So we had a good look at it and saw the scoreboards, and I think we finished up on 10 wins, and there were about 4 others that finished on 9 wins, as well as Peter on 10 wins. So it was very, very tight at the top, and that's quite a lot of wins for here in Sweden with 14 teams. So I think that it was a wise decision just to look down the table and see who came in at 7th and 8th, and Ruben came in at 8th and 5 wins. And I think he basically did the bare minimum he needed to do to get into the, as you say, into the top 8, and it was just, yeah, I guess that's the whole reason behind our pick.
Okay, well, you know him very well. You grew up together. Have you raced each other a lot?
Yeah, a ton of times. We've sailed against each other heaps and probably trained against each other a lot as well. So definitely know him well. He's got a very new crew this week, so it doesn't help with your consistency. So we'll probably put a lot of pressure on the crew work, and yeah, I think it's definitely going to be a tough one. It's not going to be an easy one, and it never is once you get to the final stages of the tour events.
Well, the good news is the weather there is great for match racing today, so hopefully you won't know too much about your Achilles heel and you can get through to the semis. So we wish you well. You can carry on rigging.
Nice.
Thanks
cool,
very
thank
much. We'll go onto the water now for some of that crucial quarter-final action.
Now, go on. Yeah, on.
Now here comes Ruben Corbett, he's tagged. Now can Phil Robertson cross? This is the match right here. If Phil Robertson can cross, he will have the advantage. No, he can't. Ruben Corbett has a piece. Will have to tack away. Phil Robertson tacks right back now. Has Ruben Corbett got the space to tack back and get him on starboard? Yes, he does. We have an umpire decision. Ruben Corbett only just having enough time to do that. Phil Robertson straight back. A blue penalty, so that is a penalty to Ruben Corbett.
Okay, winding on now. What is it?
So a mistake there from the young New Zealander. He sailed a faultless match to now, but just jamming that tack in when he didn't have enough room. For me, a little too quick to tack away. Ruben trying to get across, one last ditch attempt to dive across the bow of Phil Robertson.
Hey, what are you doing?
I think we're going to see.
Hey. Keep the boom out, keep the boom out. Hey, come on, that's just stupid, Ruben. Come on, mate.
So, Ruben Corbett getting another penalty just through chance to the win there in the dying seconds of that race. We can't blame him for that. Trying everything to get back into the match, but instead incurring a double penalty. So some excellent sailing from both boats, but it's Phil Robertson that holds it together, closing that match out at the top of the beat, going out on to sail to the win in this first quarter-final matchup here at the Stena Match Cup Alpari World Match Racing Tour.
Well, Phil Robertson continued that winning momentum and he went on to win 3-0 in that quarter-final against fellow Kiwi Ruben Corbett, although there were a few tight exchanges along the way. In the all-Swedish matchup, it was a real humdinger in Flight 3 between Johnny Berntsson and Bjorn Hansen.
Johnny Berntsson, I think, quite managing to control that lead. Now having to do that tack, I think we'll see him tack back. Can Bjorn Hansen claim that left-hand side from here? Only 9 seconds to go. Johnny Berntson's going to either get the better of the start or he's going to be early.
Come up! Come up!
There, Johnny Berntsson just nipping around the bow of Bjorn Hansen now. Will the umpires view that as an infringement?
Okay, går vi här. Går vi här.
So Johnny Berntsson, I think, getting the better of the starts there. Very risky positioning from him, but him just managing to nip around the bow of Bjorn Hansen. But no, there's the blue flag. That is penalty, Johnny Berntsson. So I think the umpire's deciding that that was too close. So he has the lead, but he also has a penalty in this must-win match for him here.
Det ska vara en kortis hitåt, gubbar. Lite långsammare, lite högre.
So Johnny Berntsson has that right-hand side, he's in phase. But let's not forget, he's a penalty down. So he needs to try and extend.
Ganska snabb gitt, killar.
So, possible opportunity to offload his penalty. Johnny Berntsson stays on starboard. It's not round the mark. He's got to be careful. Bjorn very close to being able to get that turn in. His boat's able to spin on a tuppeny. And actually some excellent sailing from Johnny Berntsson. He's able to hold Bjorn Hansen head to wind with his stern. And now lead the turn extensively away. That will buy him a couple of boat lengths. Bjorn Hansen is slow and he's late into the hoist. Some excellent sailing from Johnny Berntsson at the top of that mark to perhaps extend away, snatch a bit of security for himself as they come onto the run. Up on the beat. For me, he actually has enough distance to do his penalty already.
Okay, go on. Okej. Går vi hela vägen runt här. Upp låret, upp låret, upp låret.
Hey! 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 He's attacking boat there, guys!
Okej, och så bom upp.
No room! No room! But what about the contact, guys? Sure.
Ja, hiss.
Hey, no room!
Ja, we have room!
No room! Hey, no room! We have overlap all the time! Hey, no room! Hey. No room! No room!
To room!
Come up! Come up! Come up! Come up! Come up! Come up! Come up!
Okej, segla in med stolen, segla. Okej, seglar vi över honom. Nu seglar vi över honom. Bra.
Come up!
Ja, kom in. Släpp stor. Ja, kom igen. Ja. Det är frågan om vi ska gå över och ta höger här, en annan straff. Eller hur? Gitt.
Han kommer på gippen, gubbar. Han kommer på gippen och kör.
2, 1 och upp.
Ja, vi kommer på gipp.
Inte bli rullade här nu, gubbar.
That very costly mistake at the top from Johnny Berntsson has cost him the match. Excellent sailing from Bjorn and his Mekonomen sailing team. Congratulations, we have our second quarter-finalists here at the Stena Match Cup.
So Bjorn Hansen winning the duel with fellow Swede Johnny Berntsson, 3-0 overall. So here's a list of the full results from the quarterfinals. As mentioned, Robertson beat fellow Kiwi Ruben Corbett 3-0. Bjorn Hansen, as mentioned there, nudged out Johnny Berntsson in another 3-0 scoreline. In the other two quarterfinal ties, Ian Williams, current holder of the Stena Match Cup Sweden, cruised to a 3-0 victory. His win over Pierre-Antoine Morvan was pretty emphatic, that one. And the final skipper through to the semis was Peter Gilmore, who finished second in qualifying. He managed to continue his good form against Keith Swinton, beating the fellow Australian 3-1. Well, on to the semi-finals, and it was a repeat of last year's final between Bjorn Hansen and Ian Williams. These can be quite eventful encounters, as we've learned over time passing, and it was not more so than in match one.
And Bjorn is someone who just is super experienced and won this event before, so tight one, Shorzy.
And then hold on to it.
It's going to be interesting. I have to say, I mean, Bjorn's win over Ian in Korea perhaps coming into play here. Already, we're only on event 3 in this history between these two skippers on this 2012 Alpari Bob Match Racing Tour.
Build on port.
It looks to me with Bjorn off to the right at the moment, perhaps he has in the ascendancy in the manoeuvring.
Well, we've just seen here Ian's getting there's contact. That's a big mistake by Ian Williams there. That's going to be Bjorn Hansen getting the advantage off that, after that, keeping the right there. Ian trying to turn these boats. These boats have no rudder lock, so you can actually like spin them on the dime. Ian thought he could make it behind Bjorn, and there's a collision there, and it could have even done a little bit of damage.
Ian Williams coming right down. Bjorn does a nice job of his positioning here. He will force Ian to round. He ends up outside. It may be that Ian tries to get Bjorn to trap him one or other side. Bjorn trying desperately not to get overlapped. See the Alpari logo there cutting through the water.
No, cut that.
Now Williams doing an excellent job there.
Hey, cut. Just got to lock him here, okay, guys? Got to lock him in here.
Ian's talking about locking, actually stopping Bjorn from being able to turn behind his transom.
Okay, go full speed now.
Ian wants to hold Bjorn up and away from the finishing line, sail them in the wrong direction, and maybe be able to do his penalty turn, which is now that they're on the downwind leg attack.
Are we outside too?
We might see Ian offload his penalty here.
Penalty.
Okay,
Complete, go hoist. Into a jibe, okay, guys? It's going to be a jibe. Go hoist, put it up, please.
That was quite a good spot for Ian to take his penalty. He's done the tack and he's not ahead, but he's in a very powerful position on Bjorn, so he might be able to roll here.
So let's see what happens. Ian Williams sets his shoot. He's rolling his dirty air down onto Bjorn Hansen.
He's nothing.
Bjorn Hansen responding with a very aggressive laugh. Ian's shoot is set, Bjorn Hansen's isn't set. I think this is the race right here, folks, as Ian Williams comes across the top of Bjorn Hansen. Bjorn Spinnaker still not fulling. Now can Ian get the jibe in? Oh, you can see Bjorn hardest fanning the main, trying to waft dirty air onto the front of the left of Bjorn Hansen's Spinnaker. Spinnaker is still drawing. Now Ian Williams has to be able to get this jibe in and try and get air stable one side or the other.
Jibing.
3 or 4 lead changes. The boat's never really getting more than a couple of lengths apart. So excellent sailings from these two top skippers.
Bjorn Hansen managed to take the first win there in that semi-final, and Bjorn joins me now. But Bjorn, Ian Williams managed to pull it back. 1-1 it's finished at the end of the day. These encounters between you two are always so close. Is that because you're too evenly matched?
Yeah, I think we're quite evenly matched. Especially have been that during the last, let's say, the last year or something like that. We have raced each other a lot in the quarterfinals, semi-finals and finals during the last year, and it has always been tight matches. I think that today showed that it's going to be a tough semi-final series. I mean, both matches were really close with lead changing and everything like that. So, yeah, we're looking forward to tomorrow.
We know how much it would mean to you to win at your home regatta here in Sweden. Is there a part of you that wants to take revenge for last year's final against Ian Williams?
For sure. I mean, last year's final was a really disappointment for us, losing that deciding race. But still, we need that. We cannot think like that we want to win the whole regatta. We need to take one match at a time and just try to sail our best, and I think we're doing it pretty good. I think that our maneuvers are just fantastic, and it feels like, especially on the downwind when we are close, we are having a little bit of edge on Ian at the moment, and in these boats, which we are more familiar with than Ian is.
Going into the remaining semi-final races, are you going to be aggressive? Is that the tactic, or are you reacting to what Ian throws at you?
No, I don't know. I think that, for example, in the quarterfinals with Johnny, we are quite aggressive, both of us. So that means that it will be quite aggressive sailing. Ian is not that aggressive, and if just one is aggressive, then the race won't be that aggressive. So I think that we will see pretty much what we saw in the two first races today, and I mean, it was close and fairly aggressive, but not that bad.
Thanks, Bjorn. Well, of course, there is another semi-final going on, and that is also a close contest between Phil Robertson and Peter Gilmore. That's also at 1 apiece. And here's a reminder of what's up for grabs.
Williams got pace. Oh. Hansen claiming he's avoiding. Williams claiming he was fouled. Here comes Gilmore. It's 2-2. Great set. Remember, this is do or die. Williams sailing amazingly. Williams wins. Stena Match Cup sweep.
Race commentator and double world champion Simon Shaw joins me. And Simon, watching that, you do think that Bjorn Hansen has maybe got revenge on his mind for that final against Ian Williams last year. Do you think that's what will happen as this semi-final plays out tomorrow?
I mean, it's impossible to pick the result right now, but certainly Bjorn Hansen is sailing, I think, probably as well as he's ever done in his career, really on the top of his game. And that really, I think, perhaps profiling both those skippers, I think, really firing all cylinders, and it's really hard to tell which one of them will come out with the ascendancy. It's going to come down to very, very small differences.
Both semi-finals are tightly poised, 1 apiece. Do you think it will be a close contest? It's too close to call at the moment for you.
I mean, today, just watching the matches, you know, across both semi-finals, the differences between winning and losing were so tight today. In Korea, we were watching the matches, and in Germany, we were watching. People were making real mistakes, and there were real great moves on the race course, and today it wasn't really like that. There were really small differences that were being exploited and capitalised to create the wins versus the losses, and I think that's just a sign of we've got 4 absolutely superb teams on top form in this semi-final, and it's going to be really hard to pick.
And in your opinion, if Ian Williams loses to Bjorn Hansen tomorrow, it means that he really is losing pace in the overall score leaderboard. Do you think maybe his World Championship title is then up for grabs?
Well, no. I mean, there's no question that the way the tour points are structured, it really comes down to your performance at Malaysia. But there's no doubt that Bjorn's pieced together a good tour. And for me, that's really the story of 2012 on this Alpari World Match Racing Tour. Bjorn has always never quite had that passion in his belly. I don't think he's really ever quite believed in himself that he's capable of winning, and he may dispute that himself, but that would be my read. And today on the water you saw him lose a race and he wasn't happy with an umpire decision, and he laid into the umpires. You could see it was just all passion. He's the loveliest, kindest, gentle-hearted guy on the shore, but out on the water there he was all heart and absolutely committed to winning, and I think that across him and his team was really evident today. And you know, I think we're in for a great Alpari World Tour.
Thanks, Simon, and we'll see how those semi-finals unfold tomorrow here at Stena Match Cup Sweden. Make sure you join us for all the action, and you can keep across all the live race updates via Twitter as well. The Twitter account is @WMRT_live race updates, and via Facebook, facebook.com/World Match Racing Tour. We'll see you tomorrow. Bye for now.